Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rafai.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Tundu.
Good morning.
Yes, looking smashy in that naval ceremonial jacket like. you know who means that. Now,
let's going to be building a naval base soon.
Not in Kano, that's for sure.
Now, let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Now, the lead story, Masari, with hindsight, we should never have negotiated with bandits. Set to ban open grazing, says it's un-Islamic, declares nomadic herding mustn't be encouraged in any form. Is he talking to the president, who is about to revalidate or uncover grazing reserves that many say don't exist anywhere? And of course, he identifies informant as greatest challenge to fight against insecurity. President worried about selective abductions, killing, says Inspector General of Police. Now, the Katsina State Governor, the home state of the president, is saying, yes, negotiating with the bandits was a mistake. Well, he will be forgiven for owning up to his mistake. And for those who think those terrorists, who are also called bandits, should be pampered, well, the governor who negotiated with them brought them close to himself. His observations cannot be downplayed at this point if we are to defeat these rogue elements who go around the forests of the Northwest. But, of course, his pronouncement on open grazing is in itself quite, I don't want to say epochal because other governors have made similar, but coming from the home state of the president, it is something very significant. And it is also worthy of note that the president has given Katsina State several billions of naira to go about ranching and the proper way to rear cattle. So why is the president still preaching the gospel of open grazing with his effort to bring about what we call grazing routes, grazing reserves? I'll just move on to other stories quickly. Vanguard newspaper. Insecurity. Act fast. Nigerians living in fear. Akeredolu. I regret granting bandits amnesty. Masari. Gunmen kidnap ex-Katsina State Television General Manager. Daughter. Ask President to restore people's hope. Make Nigeria livable. Insist open grazing now illegal. Buhari orders security chiefs to end selective abductions, killings in Northeast, North Central. Bandits becoming a nuisance. Nigeria believe we are incapable, says Defense Minister. Yes, still on security, the Daily Independent newspaper, insecurity again. Buhari gives service chiefs marching order. And I say for the umpteenth time, worried bandits attack becoming more persistent. Super Tucano aircraft on test flights, Magashi. Now the Guardian newspaper also on that meeting between the president and the service chief. NSA absent as service chiefs get fresh order to end killings. Nigeria takes delivery of another batch of Super Tucano jets next week. Terrorists in Zamfara being clothed as bandits, says Akeredolu. Now the Daily Trust newspaper, many schools shut as insecurity disrupts learning in 4 states. Bandits convert classrooms to restroom in Zamfara. uncertainty in Katsina, Kaduna, Niger redeploys boarding students. We must salvage our children, experts. While the New Telegraph newspaper, Insecurity, Gumi blames federal government for rise in kidnapping banditry, says military force against bandits won't solve insurgency, explains why Zamfara is epicenter of crime, overwhelmed governors prodding citizens to self-defense, says General Ipowen, others. Now, I don't know what Sheikh Gumi is saying. We have tried, at least the Katsina State governor tried to dialogue, pamper, and even grant amnesty to these bandits. They refused. Many of them came, collected money, and went back to their old ways. Now, Gumi is saying that military force alone will not do the job. What will do the job? Him going to speak and negotiate with the bandits in the forest, is that what will do the job? Has it changed anything? He says those people are his brothers, but he should tell his brothers, since he has access to them, that they cannot continue to hold the whole of the North Central to ransom, preventing children from going to school. Now, politics, the leadership newspaper, 2023 permutation changes as North Central lobbies APC, PDP for tickets. Says region should produce next president for fairness, equity, and justice. Disown politicians from North Central seeking party national chairmanship positions. North Central, it's like they've taken a page from the Southeast script book to also lobby. North Central, the home region of Bukola Saraki, also eyeing the presidency. The home state of Yaya Bello, who is also home region, who is also going around that he wants to be the next president. Of course, David Mack, military man turned politician, is also in the reckoning from Benue State that is in the North Central. We'll see how it goes, because the PDP will be meeting tomorrow. The National Working Committee of the PDP will be meeting, and zoning, whether of party offices or the presidency, will also be on the table. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, doctors give conditions to end 6-week-old strike. Seek for Shimbajo's intervention. Federal government denies owing them. Hold government accountable for industrial action, Jehosu. Now, the Lagos State government has discussed with these resident doctors. And it seems the Lagos State is not owing them anymore, but they are still on strike because it is a national call by their association. I don't think that is acceptable. Any state that has met its obligation to resident doctors, those doctors will be back to work, because it's citizens' lives we are talking about. You cannot, I don't think there's any rationale behind states that have met their obligations for their doctors to still be on strike. The Punch newspaper, VAT collection row. No going back on bail. Lagos insists. Adamawa backs Wike. No point. Staying action. Court has dismissed FIRS stay of execution. Lagos. Adamawa Hills Rivers court judgment says it will improve state revenue. Now, the foreign newspapers quickly. The Daily Telegraph newspaper, highest taxes since the war, since the Second World War. Johnson abandons 2 manifestos pledges as raises national insurance and pauses on pensions triple lock to fund NHS and care. Yes, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, is taking a political risk. But polls show that the people on the streets seem to agree with him that more money should be spent on the NHS, and they seem to be backing him. But we'll see whether he's committing a political suicide somewhere along the line. Now, the Wall Street Journal deal set to give banks busiest year ever. Tie-ups US valued at 1.8 trillion so far. Yes, at this point, this year, $1.8 trillion worth of deals have been tied up in the U.S., the highest in recent memory since 1995. Globally, $6.3 trillion worth of deals have been tied, according to that data provided by Deal Logic.
So I think it's post-pandemic deal making.
Yes, to catch up for the lost time, if you will.
Because it's thrown the world into a recession. I mean, if you ask a lot of business analysts, they'll tell you the best time to invest is after a crisis. Because, I mean, you get companies almost for trifles these days. Then you have a lot more money in circulation, and this is the best time to make money, really. So a lot of people have been doing great deals those times. There's been purchases of companies here and there. And anyway, there's been some regulatory bottleneck. I mean, so I think the deal between NVIDIA and ARM is still hamstrung by that regulatory bottleneck out of the EU. But a lot of deals are going on, and people are buying companies every day by the day. Secondly, for me, I saw another story on that front page that talks about the Taliban. Yeah, the Taliban finally had their government yesterday. They made a lot of concessions. Mullah Omar Son, Mullah Yaqub will be, will be the Minister of Defense. I also hear Mullah Barada also will be in there. He'll be the co-founder, as it were, of the Taliban, will be the deputy. And they've allocated all these positions, Minister of Interior and the likes. Let's see how this pans out. But one thing is certain for me, that like Lindsey Graham was saying yesterday, that this is just the beginning. America will still have to come back into Afghanistan. The war is not done yet.
Of course not.
Yeah.
And there are no women.
And there are no women.
Surprise, surprise.
A couple of names there on
They're never going to
on
be.
the FBI wanted list. A couple of names.
Yeah, Surajuddin Al-Khani.
It is going to be a terrorist
Surajuddin
hotbed.
Al-Khani of the Al-Khani network is wanted by the FBI, but he's on that list. He's taking a position in that government. But one thing is certain, there's going to be a fight for all because the extremists will come after them. The Taliban will find it very difficult. I'm sure they're celebrating their victory now in the Panjshir Valley. They've been able to capture Panjshir. But it's going to be a fight to finish. And the Americans will come back very soon. Because China, Russia is still looking. Iran is there. It's the beginning of another problem.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Ofeni. Thank you very much indeed.